That's you in the
go
back.
through with you how you should be taking your notes. So first, you want to make sure you download the research guide and you're filling out your notes on that sheet and not just submitting pictures of your notes. You need to fill it out on the sheet that we gave you. It's in the module for today, and it's been on the module for every day this week. So you should download that and fill your notes out there. And then the research questions in tier 1, 2, and 3, you also have access to that on campus. It's linked in the modules that have been posted all of this week. And then these are the 2 things you looked at yesterday, how to research and paraphrasing practice if you need help with those. So when you're taking notes, make sure that you do the main ideas, and if something's mentioned more than once, it's probably important, so you probably want to write that down as well. So you need to make sure you read the whole entire article and not just like the first paragraph and the last paragraph. And then you can organize your notes if you want to. And then you want to make sure that you also find some counterclaims to go with your claim. If you don't find a claim or a counterclaim in one of your sources, you can always get it from a different source if it relates to that claim. You just have to mention that in your essay when you're writing. And then here is an example. Says Boston University states that in fact, students openly admit their cell phones distract them and that they focus better in school without them. If I were to paraphrase this, I'm still going to reference the source at the beginning, or you can do it at the end. But there's no quotation marks because these are my own words. So I could say, according to Boston University, cell phones cause a distraction to students and their learning, and they will even admit that when asked. So that is different from this, but I'm still referencing the source because it was their idea. I just changed the words. When you're paraphrasing, you don't want to just change one word in the sentence because that's still plagiarism, or 2 words. You want to completely change the sentence. Otherwise, you should just put it in quotation marks because you don't want to plagiarize. And your argumentative essay should be most of your own words, except for the one piece of evidence that you do put in each paragraph. And if you use evidence for your counterclaim too.
Yeah. Spending.
And then when you are paraphrasing, you obviously need to read the article that you chose. And you need to find keywords that relate to your claim. And then write the ideas out on your own. And you should compare what you wrote and what the author wrote to make sure that they don't sound the exact same. Otherwise, that's still plagiarism. And this should be your own work, not theirs. And then make sure to still give credit even though you are paraphrasing at the beginning of your sentence or at the end. And you can put it in parentheses too if you want to do that. And then these are also at the bottom of the Canvas page in yesterday's module, I think. It says when you should paraphrase and when you should use a direct quote. So if you don't know when you should do that, that tells you exactly when you should do that. But you are going to need to submit source 3 and 4 today. This is our last work day. So you will not have any time next week to do this because we will be starting our draft. So if you have no notes, you are not going to be very happy when everybody's able to write and you are not.
Yeah, Bentley.
This is our last research day, so make sure if you finish 3 and 4, you can go back to look at source 1 and 2 to make sure those have enough notes. But you need to submit 3 and 4 by the end of the class today.
That's spanking.
Sound good?
Anna.
You have the rest of the time to work.
I didn't know that was going to show up. The fool? I'll get about that. I'm just going to go play the top because we have a 4-day weekend, so I could just finish those up.
What, you know what Dodge Challenger is?
I probably won't finish it over the weekend.